US government is laying off 307,000 people. UPS is laying off 78,000 people. Amazon 30,000. Intel 25,000. Nissan 20,000. Nestle 16,000. Microsoft 15,000. Bosch 13,000. Dell 12,000. Verizon 13,000. Accenture 11,000. Ford 11,000. Microsoft 7,000. PwC 5,600. Salesforce 4,000. IBM 2,700. American Airlines 2,700, Paramount 2,000, Target 1,800, GM General Motors 1,500 motors 1,500 employees, Kroger 1,000 employees, Meta 1,000 employees.
It's like clockwork every single month. Layoffs. Layoffs are happening. 5%, 10% of the company. Every time I open up LinkedIn, I see a new company doing it. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this to you. It does not matter how amazing of an employee you are or how much your manager likes you. Nobody cares if you live or die at these major tech companies.
I remember when I arrived here, I was working in tech, and the first thing that I did was go on LinkedIn and add people who were working for the big tech companies. So they were working for Amazon and Meta, and I've added almost 20 to 30 people. And what happened was, a few months later, every single one of them, without any exception, got laid off. And that experience taught me that you should never ever have a dream company. Seeing all these massive layoffs kind of worried me because no industry is spared. You'll see layoffs in tech, automobile, majors, etc. And we're only 2 months in 2026. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if your industry is affected. Let's start.
The US economy just got a huge announcement of layoffs across a whole bunch of different companies. And now this isn't just America, this is affecting global employment, and whether it's AI or margin crunch from tariffs or something else entirely, right? US government is laying off 307,000 people. UPS is laying off 78,000 people. Amazon 30,000. Intel 25,000. Nissan 20,000. Nestle 16,000. Microsoft 15,000. Bosch 13,000. Dell 12,000. Verizon 13,000. Accenture 11,000. Ford 11,000. Microsoft 7,000. PwC 5,600. Salesforce 4,000. IBM 2,700. American Airlines 2,700, Paramount 2,000, Target 1,800, GM General Motors 1,500 motors 1,500 employees, Kroger 1,000 employees, Meta 1,000 employees.
So this is my personal theory, but what I think is Elon Musk gave all the CEOs the courage to do these massive layoffs. Because what happened was, I don't know if you remember, but Elon Musk bought X and he laid off 80% of the workforce in the company. And the company was still working. And I think that action inspired many CEOs to do the same because they saw that there were no negative consequences and they could save in the short term, especially when the earning calls get closer. That's when they do the massive layoffs, and after the earning calls, they rehire. But the problem is maybe this strategy is to lower the people wages. For example, if I was getting paid 100K, then they lay me off, they fire me, I come back and they pay me half of it. And I will have to accept it because almost every company is laying off. So if we jump into the comments, you'll see someone who said, there used to be a lot of shame for companies that laid off employees while they were profitable, and we need to bring back that shame. We need to regulate these companies so that if they are profitable, they are not laying off employees just to bring up their quarterly profit. So someone else said, but CEO will get millions in bonuses. That's what happens with these execs. They are the ones that are taking the bad decisions and they're failing upwards. And the people who are not taking the decisions are the ones who are paying the consequences. It's like in video games industry. What happens is you have a parent company and a studio. Now, the studio is filled with developers that are passionate about their craft, and the parent company only cares about making money. Now, the parent company is the one controlling the studio, so it will force the studio to make games that have greedy microtransactions. So greedy microtransaction means that, for example, when you play a game that is live service, they will tell you if you want to level up your character, you have to pay a certain fee. And I'm talking about real money. Now, that piss off many players, and players decide to boycott the game. And what happens is the game isn't selling. The studio didn't want to make the game, but the parent company forced them to make the game. And now they're at a loss, and the parent company will decide to close the studio, even though the parent company is the one who took the decision. So in Japan, something like that happened. For example, Nintendo, when they started struggling with the Wii U, when they released it, it wasn't selling. So the CEO decided to cut his salary to half in order to keep his employees. Now, I think that rule should be the same in the US. I'm gonna tell you something. If the CEOs keep failing upwards and they see there is no consequences, they will be incentivized to keep making bad decisions because they know that they are not the one paying the consequences. Someone in the comments said that's 581,800 jobs. And keep in mind, this is only 1 month in 2026. If you look at the date, you'll see that it was commented the 30th of January.
It's like clockwork every single month. Layoffs. Layoffs are happening. 5%, 10% of the company. Every time I open up LinkedIn, I see a new company doing it. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this to you. It does not matter how amazing of an employee you are or how much your manager likes you. Nobody cares if you live or die at these major tech companies. If you are part of a smaller startup or more of a mid-sized company, I know that it's different. I have a lot of friends that don't work in these huge corporations, but if you are in these massive, massive corporate jobs, a lot of my followers I know are tech workers or finance workers. They don't care. I have friends that have only gotten high ratings, promotions, and they still got laid off. I'm just gonna kind of tell you things that I think you should be doing that I'm sure you see that I've been doing for the past few years now. I've just never seen my future to be fully in tech. I've said this a lot on my page. Tech has always been an injection point for me to learn a lot, work from the best, pay off my student loans, get in a good place financially, and also propel my other career, which is making content. I make a lot of content about tech, how to break into tech. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't work in tech for so many years now. Obviously, no secret, what I love to do is make videos. And I'm not saying that you need to quit your 9 to 5 to become a content creator. No, start making another option for yourself. It could be just learning a new hobby, picking up a new skill, maybe learning to day trade, maybe learning another activity on the side. It doesn't have to be too crazy. Nothing has to start with this whole vision in mind. My biggest motto in life is just start now, perfect it later. And that's how I've always gotten things done. I've started 3 businesses. I've started multiple social medias. It's been years of me just trying, just seeing if I like it, figuring it out. It's gonna take you some time as well. And you don't want that to happen the second you're laid off or you're in a pinch.
This is exactly the main reason why I don't want to have a kid yet or buy a house. Because working for this 9 to 5, we're living at a time where being an entrepreneur feels more stable than being a 9 to 5. And in the past, it was the complete opposite. So imagine you live paycheck to paycheck, because usually when you have a mortgage and you have a kid, it's harder for you to save. Every mood swing of your boss, you'll stress that he might fire you. And the fact that you are walking on eggshells every single day you go at work, for me, it's not worth it. So if you go to the comments, someone said, if you do side hustles though, does it affect your performance reviews? Like, would they see you as less committed? For me, you should keep your side hustle away from your colleagues and your bosses to avoid these types of situation, because you never know. Sometimes your boss can even have a side hustle and be cool with it, or he can dedicate his whole life to the company, and if he see that you don't do the same, he will give you more workload and might affect your performance review. So someone else said, what industry is stable right now? And the creator answered, I think mid-sized and smaller startups in tech over big tech companies, but we'll figure it out together. Small to mid-sized companies, I wouldn't say they're more stable than big-sized companies, because what happens is small to mid-sized companies, they struggle more to hire experienced workers, because experienced workers expect to have big salaries. And you have a team filled with juniors, and usually juniors, they make more mistakes than seniors. And if the products doesn't sell properly, it might also drive the company into bankruptcy. Me, for example, I think I would go for bigger companies, but that are not popular, like banking. Usually it pays well, it's more stable, and it depends also about the management. At this point, I think that 9 to 5 should be seen as temporary, and people should lean more towards being an entrepreneur, building their own business, or investing. The problem with investing is in order to invest fast, you need to have a lot of money, and not everyone has access to big salaries. But if you don't have that possibility, you should focus on being an entrepreneur.
So I just got laid off from Amazon. I was one of the 14,000 people who got an email at like 4 in the morning saying that your role has been eliminated. So honestly, what am I feeling right now? I'm kind of numb. I'm kind of in shock of just how it was handled because I literally had no idea. Like literally imagine just waking up one day, it's a regular Tuesday, you check your phone, see what time it is, and you see you got an email that your role is being eliminated. Genuinely, when I saw that on my phone, I thought it was spam because I'm like, no way, like, what do you mean that it's gonna email? So I go on my work laptop, I find out I'm locked out of my laptop, and I check my email, I lost access to my laptop, I don't have badge access, I literally haven't heard anything from my manager, hear nothing from my coworkers, and it's just like, you're just locked out. And it's so crazy because, so I was there for only like a little over a year, but I have a coworker who was there. It was going to be his 13th anniversary of being there for 13 years. And this is the way that we find out. And it's just kind of like, you, like, oh, like, it's just so crazy to me because, like, you spend so much of your energy at your job, right? And for you to just find out in this way, it's like a very feeling. I'm going to be so honest. It's like, well, what was the point of me doing any of that? And, like, as someone who has quote unquote done the right thing, like I'm a child of immigrants, so I had to I chose the engineering route, but I studied engineering in college. I had 4 internships in undergrad. 2 of them were in big tech. After graduating, I was at Microsoft and now I'm at Amazon. And it's like, on top of that, never have gotten negative feedback for any of my performance reviews. And it's like, you can do everything right, but at the end of the day, your future is not in your hands when you work for someone. And it's like, it just blows my mind because I feel like as a society we, especially like when you come from like a family of immigrants, like, you know, work hard to get a really good job, work in corporate, don't do anything risky. And it's like you do that and you literally have no control if you get a bad manager. You have no control if what you're working on gets deprioritized, or, you know, the company decides to be more lean and make things less bureaucratic. Like, you have no control over that. And like, I feel like I just worked so hard to do the right things, and this was such a huge slap in the face of like, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit in me and I've always wanted to do that, but like this experience honestly like is screaming to me that it really, you will never feel safe or secure without you like doing something for yourself.
This is why in some countries like France, you have 2 types of contracts. You have the CDD, which means contrat à durée déterminée. It's a temporary contract. And you have the CDE, which means a permanent contract. What happens is companies there, they don't hire you permanently. Like if they decide to hire you permanently, it means that you're the best, or you probably have amazing contacts, but there's a low chance for you to be hired in the long term. Because what happens is when they hire you in the long term, in order to fire you, they will have to pay a huge severance, and the employees are extremely well protected by the government and the law itself. So what they do is they renew the contract every time it's done, but also that renewal comes with a limit. So they have 2 options. They either stop renewing it once they reach the limit, but bigger companies, what they do is they create another company and send you there to work for them, even though they own that company. So you'll have company A1, A2. Now you renewed your contract until you reach your limit with A1. They will tell you, okay, now it's time for you to go A2. You'll do the same. And then they will send you to A3. You'll do the same. So you'll permanently be on a loop with a temporary contract, and you'll always be stressed because you never know when you get fired. So if we go in the comments, someone said, I'm working for Amazon as a warehouse employee. It's truly stressful. You have to be on the app basically all day. It's hard to focus on other things because you're fighting to pick up shifts, maybe because the small city I am in, but gosh, then you up your points. It's crazy, and managers can care less. You definitely will be better off. Someone else said, man, they had me out here working like a straight up zombie, 3 a.m. night back to back. Then I come back from my leave and boom, laid off after 6 years. Never again am I giving a job that kind of energy. I officially retired from being the overworked superhero. This is why people are not performing as well as they used to, because Loyalty doesn't pay anymore in these companies. And you have this guy who has an interesting theory, thinking that all these layoffs are a way to reset the salaries. Like I was explaining earlier, you get paid well, you get laid off and rehired, but with half of your salary. Let's watch it.
Any of the tech workers still unemployed from the mass layoffs, have y'all been getting feelers sent out by recruiters yet? Suddenly, I have a lot of recruiters in my inbox for contract work 6 months to 1 year at a time, but they are all hiring for a ridiculously low hourly rate. So jobs that I used to go on where I would be making $50 to $70 an hour are now hiring for $25 to $30 an hour, which is about the same amount that I make doing retail management work, except with my retail manager's job, I at least get benefits. The whole reason for a high hourly is that you are charging for the benefits that you do not get as a salaried employee, including things like job security, your 401k, and your health insurance. We are undergoing a major salary reset for the tech industry at the very least, if not across the board. They are trying to get white-collar workers as close to the minimum wage as possible. Never once did I ever think my tech job, my cushy tech job, would be the equivalent of working retail. Never. And now I'm sitting here with interviews from the Big Five that offer the same amount as my retail job, but I mean less, honestly, because I don't get health insurance, I don't get benefits, and I don't get paid time off. My retail job is more competitive than the tech jobs I'm going out for. And I have 10 years of experience in high-level content strategy and algorithm work. This is wild. Never in all my years would I think that specialized work would be competitive or on par with my retail job. Never. And I don't have disrespect for retail. I just didn't think it'd be that way.
So in the comments, someone said they laid everyone off, now need the workers back, but don't want to hire permanent staff again, so are going contract/consulting route. Someone else said, to me, this feels more severe than 2008, 2010. I remember a lot of people getting laid off back then, but I do not remember wages actually reversing. I even heard that this crisis is even worse than the one in the 1930s. Because when you compare the house prices with the wages, the gap is so big that it is bigger than the one they got in the 30s. And someone else has said nurse wages have gone down 25% and still dropping. I think this one is related to Medicaid being suppressed by the new president. Someone else said, at this point, genuinely, what should I even work as? I'm 15, but with the way my education system works, I have to choose which industry I want to work in, and my subjects for 11th and 12th grade will be based on that. I was gonna go with tech because I do have passion for coding, but it's just not promising anymore. Business, finance. What you gotta keep in mind is when it comes to tech, it's like healthcare. In healthcare, you have cardiologists, you have doctors, you have dermatologists, you have many other jobs in healthcare. In tech, it's the same thing. It's not only software engineer. You can be a data analyst, you can be a database manager, you can be so many things, but software engineer. Right now, the crisis is felt in software engineers, but in other fields, I think that there is a demand for it. Someone else said, same happened after the '08 crash. I turned down every job offer that was less than what I made previously, despite everyone around me acting like I should be thankful for anything. Don't fall for it. Hold the line. Now let's see the layoffs at Washington Post. Keep in mind that it is owned by Jeff Bezos, same thing as Amazon.
First, we will be closing the sports department in its current form. We plan to retain several reporters to join features and cover sports as a cultural and societal phenomenon, as well as several folks to staff the print sports section. This is obviously a uniquely and incredibly difficult decision. Our sports coverage is often superb. Our sports writers are among the most talented in our business. Sports has a very proud legacy at the Post. Unfortunately, we are grappling and have been with just major changes in the way sports news is delivered, shared, and experienced across the industry.
So in the comments, someone said they're just going to use AI to write everything. So I made a video about AI replacing the jobs, but there was a woman that was in the same situation. She was working for a major company, and what they did was they wanted to hire her to train the AI agent that will replace her. Someone else said Jeff Bezos is worth $250 billion. Billion with a B. He could keep the post going indefinitely of a tiny fraction of the interest his assets generate and not even notice it. We truly live under the most despicable wealthy class. So sorry this happened to you. This is why we need more regulation. Someone else said we need 0 billionaires. So the next video is someone who thinks that same theory, that the companies are firing their employees to rehire them with lower wages. But this time it is in major.
It should be criminal how low the pay has gotten due to mass layoffs. The fact that legacy big media companies are offering $50K for jobs that would have paid that much 10 years ago. In New York, almost every job I'm getting an interview for is like $17 an hour. It's like project manager roles. This is insane. It should be criminal.
So in the comments, someone said it is criminal, but we've let the ruling class do whatever they want. Someone else said, yep, and the minimum wage in every single state is less than the living wage. Florida minimum wage is $13, livable wage is $23. Even if you work full-time, you're still not making enough to live on basic necessities. If everyone just stopped working or showing up to corporate, we take our power back. Yeah, this is an interesting comment. Why isn't the minimum wage as the same as the livable wage? Why is there a gap between those two wages? So someone else said, I saw one job at $50K for a senior role on site, and the creator answered, I've seen several of those in a major city. And you have Kai who said, this is why I have a hard time leaving my job. I have a degree but little experience in my field of study, which definitely sets me behind. I currently have a job not in my degree field that pays $17 to $20 an hour. Depending on production quotas, I'm almost always getting $19 to $20 consistently, and despite the judgment I get for my retail job, I'm not rushing to leave with that everyone is saying about the current job market. So yeah, I also made a video about people who quit their job and regretted it because the job market is going wild. Feel free to watch it in the channel. Now let's see the layoffs in the healthcare industry.
I think people should know this. Hospitals nationwide are letting go of people left and right. Something is seriously wrong, and not many people are talking about it. So we have a new budget plan, and it just might have some healthcare cuts. I mean, I don't think there'd be this many hospitals laying off this many people if they didn't see this coming. And I'm serious, just Google hospital layoffs, and you will see nothing but mass layoffs nationwide, everywhere. It just keeps going. Now, this courageous healthcare worker at the top here posted a video because she works in Delaware County, and they're letting everybody go at the hospital. And it's happening to all the hospitals around her hospital. And you should see people's comments. She went on to say, I'm a respiratory therapist working my last shift tonight at Taylor. We had a 3-day notice that we were losing our jobs for profit private equity firms. They have no place in healthcare. Another person said the closures are the result of actions by private equity firms. They accumulated substantial debt and diverted funds to dividends to pay investors. Basically, they took the money and filed bankruptcy. This is our healthcare system, people. So either these cuts are coming and they know it, and these equity firms are getting out now and running with the money, or something is massively up because there are layoffs nationwide. Every state, we could have a serious problem here.
To be honest, I never ever would have imagined that layoffs will affect also the healthcare industry. You know why? Because it's an industry that is always understaffed. Usually when you go to the hospital, you wait long before being taken care of. So those people are precious. Not everyone is willing to work in healthcare because of the condition and how hard it is to get a degree. Now, what might happen is all those people getting laid off might definitely quit those industry and decide to pursue something else. And it will make the understaffing problem worse. So in the comments, someone said Medicaid cuts, that's why people are getting laid off. Someone else said, do you want to see layoffs? I live in Philadelphia. I've had a discussion with my doctors. You take away individual Medicaid, and I'm telling you the effects of that are going to be dramatic. Someone else said, I just got laid off today and I have worked there for over 8 years. I'm still in shock. 535 people from my company gone this week. And also the education. When it comes to the education, even teachers are getting laid off, like this one.
All right, it's official. I am being laid off. Just received my preliminary reduction in force notice that I am, what's the word? Notice of recommendation not to reemploy for 2025-2026. You are receiving this notice either because you serve in a particular kind of service that is being reduced or eliminated. So, can someone please just explain to me how the teacher of the year gets laid off? And yes, I am upset. But I think I'm so angry right now that it's going to take me some time to sift through these emotions. I love my students. I always will. That's it.
So Lisa said, I'm so angry for you. Teacher of the Year should be held on tightly and bragged about by the school district. How ridiculous during a teacher shortage. Someone else said, the worst part is once we lose all these great teachers, they aren't coming back that easily.
I've been a consultant for a few years, and I wholeheartedly believe that the whole fire people first thing is stemming from a lack of financial literacy, lack of education in our colleges, and just management that really has no idea how to mesh finances with some operational intelligence or strategy. What I've come to notice is that a lot of times these teams aren't even aware of what they're supposed to look at. Like, what metrics are you supposed to know right off the bat about your company so that when an economic downturn happens or when something happens, you know how to pivot and how to shift without firing people. And of course, I think that we've grown up in a society that has absolutely downplayed the effects of mass layoffs and laying people off, both from, what it's causing in people's lives, but also from a standpoint of the company image will take a very hard hit, and that will continue for generations, because people will always remember how you as a company, how you as a leader treated them when times were tough and they relied on you.
You got to keep in mind that your network will bring you to places where your resume can't. And that's why you got to know that these people, these CEOs and execs, they're not talented, they're not competent. That's not the reason why they're in the high position they are. They're in the high position because they know someone who put them there. Someone in the comments said, really major way of articulating extreme greed and strategic attacks by state on society via its shell. Yep, that greed unfortunately got to be stopped by the regulators who are not doing their job. So this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Let me know if your industry was affected. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comments. Many more are to come. Feel free to watch all the videos that I've mentioned in this one. And take care. See you soon. Ciao.